What it was, what it do? Ooh, it's your boy King M back again with another one. So, right now I'm just rapping to y'all, just chilling for real. So, yeah, we gonna hang out for a little bit. Sit back and relax.
I thought you said you were going out.
Yeah, I am. After this one is a regular video. I ain't doing no more lives. This one I'm just putting this last news on here real quick.
Mysterious light in an abandoned hospital. This water in Sweden is so clear it looks like there's none at all. Highway in Death Valley National Park, USA. The Hawaii Moa banana, a Hawaiian variety.
Damn.
This fat squirrel is a service animal. In 2013, George Clooney gifted $1 million in Toomey suitcases to each of his 14 closest friends during a dinner party, personally covering the
next time we
taxes
get
as well.
back in the bed together.
Those are octopus eggs. Mother is underneath guarding them. This sliced ham looks like it's out of focus. A microwave cookbook for lonely people.
Huh? About what? Because what I told you?
This is what an escalator looks like without the stairs. Office building that's inside but looks like it's outside.
It's your time to have
Hyraxes are some of the closest living relatives of elephants.
If you really believe
this
in the
hermit
law,
crab turned a PVC
have
pipe
faith
into a
in him
home.
that he not going to lead you wrong.
Naturally colored eggs showing the variations produced by different chicken breeds.
You got faith
the
in
amount
him?
of fluff on this dog.
Has he ever let
Amazon
you down
driver
before?
didn't feel like unloading packages and just left
so
the
that should
entire
tell you
tote bag.
9 times
This
10
building
you
has
gonna
the
be all right.
longest hallway in America. A size comparison
I
of
ain't
3
worrying about it,
generations
don't
of
mean
Mars
nothing.
rovers. This tomato's seeds have started to sprout from the inside.
Cause I don't think
This old 7-Up can was found in the attic of a new house. New cat scratcher versus a 1-year-old cat scratcher. The Confederation Bridge in Canada cuts ice like French fries. Life-sized elephant statue made from 29,649 old batteries. A Victorian pocket watch that turns into a spy camera from 1886. This soda machine at a local restaurant has local sodas instead of Coke products or otherwise. The RT-64 radio telescope in Kalyazin, Russia, was built in the Soviet era for Venus and Mars missions, and possibly to spy on aliens. You can plant this pencil's cap after you've used it and watch it grow into either tomato, coriander, or chili. Saudi Prince Al-Walid, known throughout the Arab world as the Sleeping Prince, dies after 20 years in a coma.
Ain't nobody gonna tell you.
Actual walrus suit worn by actor Justin Long in the film Tusk.
I'm playing at 50 with you.
Someone left a house on the road at 4
You think
a.m.
everything cool whole time it ain't.
Thanks for watching and subscribe for more content. Rare 64 radio telescope in Kalyazin, Russia, was built in the Soviet era for Venus and Mars missions, and possibly to spy on aliens. You can plant this pencil's cap after you've used it and watch it grow into either tomato, coriander, or chili. Saudi Prince Al-Walid, known throughout the Arab world as the Sleeping Prince, dies after 20 years in a coma. Actual walrus suit worn by actor. That's one of the weirdest restaurant bathrooms. Tim Curry's chilling transformation into Pennywise in the iconic It, 1990. Windows XP wallpaper in 1996 versus 2025. Hair frozen straight up while soaking in a hot springs at negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures. French President Emmanuel Macron met his wife, Brigitte, when he was a 15-year-old student, and she was a 39-year-old teacher at his high school. Time traveler's grave. These animal crackers came out of the bag like this. Frozen Coca-Cola expanded instead of shattering the bottle. A baby born without a toenail. These fish-shaped sandals. Someone spray-painted a Crime Stopper sign. Mysterious light in an abandoned hospital. This water in Sweden is so clear it looks like there's none at all. Highway in Death Valley National Park, USA. The Hawaii Moa banana, a Hawaiian variety. This fat squirrel is a service animal. In 2013, George Clooney gifted $1 million in Toomey suitcases to each of his 14 closest friends during a dinner party, personally covering the taxes as well. Those are octopus eggs. Mother is underneath guarding them. This sliced ham looks like it's out of focus. A microwave cookbook for lonely people. This is what an escalator looks like without the stairs. Office building that's inside but looks like it's outside. Hyraxes are some of the closest living relatives of elephants. This hermit crab turned a PVC pipe into a home. Naturally colored eggs showing the variations produced by different chicken breeds. The amount of fluff on this dog. Amazon Amazon driver didn't feel like unloading packages and just left the entire tote bag. This building has the longest hallway in America. A size comparison of 3 generations of Mars rovers. This tomato's seeds have started to sprout from the inside. This old 7-Up can was found in the attic of a new house. New cat scratcher versus a 1-year-old cat scratcher. The Confederation Bridge in Canada cuts ice like French fries. Life-sized elephant statue made from 29,649 old batteries. A Victorian pocket watch that turns into a spy camera from 1886. This soda machine at a local restaurant has local sodas instead of Coke products or otherwise. The RT-64 radio telescope in Kalyazin, Russia, was built in the Soviet era for Venus and Mars missions, and possibly to spy on aliens. You can plant this pencil's cap after you've used it and watch it grow into either tomato, coriander, or chili. Saudi Prince Al-Walid, known throughout the Arab world as the Sleeping Prince, dies after 20 years in a coma. Actual walrus suit worn by actor Justin Long in the film Tusk. Someone left a house on the road at 4 a.m. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more content. Rare photos that will blow your mind. That's one of the weirdest restaurant bathrooms. Tim Curry's chilling transformation into Pennywise in the iconic It 1990. Windows XP wallpaper in 1996 versus 2025.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up. It was at this moment that he knew.
Damn. That nigga for that ride.
It was gruesome, and it was hard. It was like reliving that day all over again.
This documentary contains graphic descriptions of domestic violence and the death of a child. It examines catastrophic failures in Illinois' criminal justice system that led to a preventable tragedy. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. If you or someone you know needs help, contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. 14 hours. That's all the time between a violent predator's prison release and an 11-year-old boy's final breath protecting his pregnant mother. On March 13th, 2024, at 7:45 in the morning, Jaden Perkins stood in his family's Chicago apartment, 4 feet 2 inches tall, 99 pounds, a 6th grader who should have been thinking about his upcoming performance as Nemo in the school play. Instead, he faced down a man 3 times his weight who had forced his way through their front door with a knife. The Illinois Prisoner Review Board.
Huh? I do. I see. Your face is red right there. Now let me do this last story real quick. We gonna hear this together. I ain't never hear this story before, so we're gonna talk about it. Well, we're gonna react to it together, and then I'm gonna shut it down for the night, cause I ain't pointing no elbows, but somebody want me to lay down with them. Let's jump back into this real quick. This is sad though. It says 11-year-old boy killed saving his pregnant mom from man released from prison 14 hours earlier. How does that happen? That's crazy, ain't it, big? 11 years old, man.
Had released CrosettiBrand at 6:08 p.m. the previous evening. They knew his history, 20 years of documented violence against women. They knew about the gun he'd put to a teenager's face. They knew about the woman he'd knocked unconscious. They knew about the home invasion that had earned him 16 years in prison. What they didn't know, because no one told them, was that Lataria Smith had desperately tried to get protection from Brand. She'd sought an emergency order on February 21st. A judge denied it. The reason? Brand was locked up at the time, so surely she was safe. The court scheduled a hearing for March 13th at 9 a.m. Brand would murder her son 90 minutes before that hearing began. Jaden Perkins was everything an 11-year-old should be. Straight A's on every report card, a full merit scholarship to the Gus Giordano Dance School, where he was one of just 13 boys selected from hundreds of applicants. He could land 3 pirouettes consistently, sometimes 4 when the music moved him just right. Days before his death, he'd won the lead role in Finding Nemo, his 3rd starring performance at Helen C. Pierce Elementary School. But if you asked anyone who knew Jaden to describe him in one sentence, they'd all say the same thing. He was the student who stood up for everyone. His teachers saw it daily. Jaden stepping between bullies and their targets, offering his lunch to kids who forgot theirs, staying after class to help struggling classmates with math. His dance instructor Amy Giordano would later say, "You couldn't take your eyes off Jaden. He had this light that just radiated to everyone who shared the floor with him." That protective instinct, that inability to stand by when someone needed help, it defined who Jaden was. And on the morning of March 13th, it would define his final moments. 6 months earlier, Jaden was perfecting his 4th pirouette at the dance studio on North Clark Street, his sneakers squeaking against the polished floor as he spun, arms extended, face focused, with the kind of determination that made instructors stop and watch. October 2023, Chicago's North Side. The leaves along Ravenswood Avenue had turned brilliant gold, and Jaden Perkins was hitting his stride in 6th grade. 4 times a week, his mother Lateria would drive him to the Gus Giordano Dance School on North Clark Street, where he'd disappear into studios filled with mirrors and music. Out of more than 100 dancers at the prestigious school, only 13 were boys. Jaden was the youngest of them, yet instructors consistently placed him in the front row. Hip-hop on Mondays, ballet on Tuesdays, contemporary and jazz rounded out his week. Only 13 were boys. Jaden was the youngest of them, yet instructors consistently placed him in the front row. Hip-hop on Mondays, ballet on Tuesdays, contemporary and jazz rounded out his week. His body seemed to understand movement the way other kids understood video games, instinctively, joyfully, completely. The previous spring, he'd played JoJo in Seussical. Before that, he narrated this production, his voice carrying across the auditorium with surprising power for someone so small. When auditions opened for Finding Nemo in early March 2024, Jaden told his best friend Nathaniel he was just auditioning to have fun with it. 3 days before his death, the cast list went up. Jaden had won the lead role of Nemo. He'd rushed home that afternoon, burst through the apartment door and shouted, "Mom, I'm going to be a fish." Lateria had laughed, pulled him close, and told him how proud she was. That was their routine, his excitement, her encouragement, their unbreakable bond. Every single morning followed the same pattern. Jaden would wake up at 6:30, eat breakfast while his 5-year-old brother Cameron watched cartoons, and help get Cameron ready for kindergarten. Before walking out the door, without fail, he'd hug his pregnant mother and say, "You're the best mom." She'd respond, "You're the best son." Neither of them knew they had already said it for the last time. October 2023 also marked another beginning, one that would end in tragedy. On October 15th, 2023, at 2:47 p.m., CrosettiBrand walked out of Stateville Correctional Center.
2 years ago.
He'd served 8 years of a 16-year sentence for home invasion and aggravated assault. The crime had been brutal. He'd broken into a woman's home after she ended their relationship, put a gun to her chin, choked her, and threatened to kill her 15-year-old son when the boy tried to intervene.
Damn.
His rap sheet read like a handbook on escalating violence. Domestic battery, violation of protective orders, harassment, assault with a deadly weapon. Brand's first action as a free man revealed his intentions. He didn't report to his parole officer. He didn't find housing. He didn't seek employment. Instead, relationship had been marked by violence.
That's why I gotta get my tools up so I can do my videos with better tech. Cause this shit is sloppy. But anyway, that's what I be saying, man. I be thinking like I used to think my fucking rap sheet was wild and crazy. Like You hear this guy charges? Like, that should be crazy.
From the start, continued his harassment, throwing rocks at windows.
I'm hustling, selling drugs and all that. You know, I had a couple assaults or whatever, but I'm just trying to feed my family and keep a couple hours in my pocket. You feel me? That's all I was out there doing. I mean, if any trouble came my way, you know, it had to get dealt with. But I mean, that was it. Like, listen to this dude charges. Like, what are you really doing, bro? Like, this menace to society type shit.
Those calling repeatedly, confronting her at her high school. Now, 17 years later, he was back. Initially, Smith didn't know Brand had been released. They'd lost contact during his incarceration. But in November 2023, he found her. He seemed different at first, calmer, apologetic, talking about making amends. Against her better judgment, possibly out of fear of what might happen if she rejected him, Smith allowed limited contact. By January 2024, the mask had slipped. Brand became increasingly possessive, demanding to know where she was at all times, who she spoke to, why she needed to work so many hours. Smith was 4 months pregnant, not with Brand's child, and his rage grew with her belly. On January 30th, 2024, Smith's phone buzzed with a series of... The police told Smith they couldn't take a report since no crime had been committed. They suggested she go back to court. On February 21st, 2024, Smith went to court seeking an emergency protective order. She detailed Brand's threats, his history of violence, his recent escalation. The judge reviewed her petition and delivered a ruling that would prove fatal. Denied. The reason? Brand had been rearrested on February 7th for violating his parole by threatening Smith. Since he was currently incarcerated at Stateville, the judge reasoned Smith was in no immediate danger. The court scheduled a follow-up hearing for March 13th.
Are you kidding me? So the judge wouldn't give her a restraining order because the guy was locked up already. That makes, like, I'm telling you that I'm fearing for my life because this crazy person is trying to kill me. You saying they locked up so they can't do shit to me. They can get out. I'm saying they not gonna be in there forever. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure the judge knew that because the judge was the one who told her that she was in no danger because she knew where yo was at. Like, that's crazy. If I feel like I'm in danger, you should, you know what I'm saying, take that serious. Like, basically, they didn't take her serious. You know what I'm saying? Telling her she's not in no danger for real, that's not taking her serious. Like, whose, you know what I'm saying, decision is that to make anyway? You telling me that I'm not in no danger? You ain't in my shoes. You don't live with me. You don't got to walk you don't got to walk the route I walk. You don't got to see that crazy face. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker not looking for you. They looking for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that should be a lawsuit right there against that judge. What y'all think? Let me know in the comment section. What you think, Pumpkin? Crazy. What I said, right? That makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. The judge said, no, they in jail. They can't get to you.
They can put out a kite for you.
They can put out a kite?
I mean, they can put out
a hit? Mm-hmm. Right. And what's that? Because some people don't know what that is.
That's when a gang is after you, pretty much.
A gang is after you?
Pretty much.
Like one person in the gang or the whole gang? Damn. Y'all hear that? Yeah, so, I mean, that's 2 reasons right there why that judge was dead wrong for doing that.
2024 at 9 a.m. Meanwhile, Brand sat in his cell, facing the prisoner review board once again. They had to decide whether his parole violations, the threats, the harassment, the attempted break-in, warranted keeping him locked up. The board members had his criminal history. They had the police reports from January 31st. What they didn't have was any information about Smith's protective order petition. No one had followed up. No one had verified. The system had failed at every checkpoint designed to protect victims like Smith. On March 12, 2024,
Yeah, see, they said the system failed at every point. So at every point where they failed, they should have been reprimanded, disciplined, and put on suspension. I don't care if that was the whole fucking district. Get them out of there. You know what I'm saying? Because that could have been your little brother or your nephew or your son. And I ain't having it. I'm telling you, let somebody play with my family like that. That's why I pray to God every day, even when I'm not praying. I'm praying because I know me, and my high power know me. It's certain crimes that I ain't trying to hear nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get back at you, and I'm going to do it whenever, wherever. Like that real beef, when I catch you, I'm going to stretch you. When I see you, I'm going to leave you. Like, on that tip. And I'm going to go to jail happily about it. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, alhamdulillah, thank God, I've never been put in that position. Even the times where I was close to being in that position, something always happened to where as though it solidified my safety and that I wouldn't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying, throwing my freedom away. Whether somebody else was willing to take that charge or whether somebody else got to them before I did. Usually cats will get to these other cats before I would. So, you know, in my way, that was like justice served. Because I ain't had to lift a finger. I ain't had to get a drop of blood on me. None of that. So, technically, I don't got nothing to do with nothing. You know what I'm saying? It just so happened that way. I got real life situations where guys I had problems with no longer here no more. And they was talking about really trying to do me dirty, you feel me? And I was on my tip, them or me. But thank God I didn't have to do nothing.
The Prisoner Review Board made a decision that would cost a child his life. March 12, 2024, 6:08 p.m. CrosettiBrand walked through the gates of Stateville Correctional Center carrying a manila envelope with his release papers and $40 in gate money. No officer checked his ankle. No electronic monitor was attached. No one verified the device that should have tracked his every movement.
I'll go through this
The
every other
requirement
day,
was
if not
clear
every
in his
day with
parole
her.
conditions.
It's nothing
Mandatory
new.
electronic monitoring for all domestic violence offenders. The device should have been locked onto his ankle before he left the parking lot. Instead, Brand boarded a bus to Chicago with nothing but his own conscience to monitor him. A conscience that had already proven worthless. Brand knew Lataria Smith's routine intimately.
Shut it down, y'all.
7 years of obsession had taught him her patterns. She left the apartment every weekday at 7:45 a.m. sharp to walk Jaden and Cameron to school. The hallway would be empty. The neighbors would be at work. She'd have to unlock the door from inside, creating the perfect moment of vulnerability. He knew something else. Smith had a court hearing scheduled for 9 a.m. on March 13th. She planned to request a protective order against him. If granted, it would mean automatic prison time for any contact. His window was closing. The history of CrosettiBrand is a timeline of escalating violence that the system repeatedly failed to stop. September 2006, Lataria Smith was 17 years old when she tried to end their relationship. Brand's response established his pattern. He arrived at her mother's house carrying a .38 caliber revolver. When Smith opened the door, he pressed the gun against her face. Her mother rushed into the room, and Brand swung the weapon toward her. He fired once into the hallway wall before fleeing. Smith obtained a protective order, which Brand violated within days by showing up at her high school, throwing rocks at her mother's windows, and calling repeated...
Wait, hold on. So, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Basically, it was more than one incident with the gunplay with these guys, with this couple. If I'm not mistaken, they just said that he shot at her once before and missed. And saying that right there should have been the sign, like, let me get away from this motherfucker. They trying to kill me. This person shot at you. Like, I mean, I've been through situations, you know what I'm saying, with my peoples, my wife, and you know what I'm saying, she hates to talk about it, but you know it's life and you gotta get over it to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We had our fights. She stabbed me, but I know for a fact she did not mean it, and I know for a fact she was really upset and disturbed about it. You know what I'm saying? Even in jail, we talked the whole time, and I could just tell in her voice, and I could just tell she was so heartbroken about it. But that shit right there, that's something different. Like, I don't give a fuck what we going through. You pull a gun out on me and shoot at me, yeah, we can't. Because that's different. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like a gun, you know, I feel like you got a chance. Both of them could kill you, but I feel like shooting somebody, that's more like you really trying to get them out of there. You feel me? Like, most times stabbing is out of passion. You feel me? Person's feelings is hurt. Or, you know what I'm saying, something like that. Whereas though shooting somebody, that can just be because you just mad. You feel me? You just want somebody to pay because you feel like you are in that position of power that you could just do what you want. And no, it don't go like that. You feel me? But yeah, that would have been it. As soon as she shot at me that first time, and she said her mother was right there when he shot at her, that's even more crazy. Like,
from different numbers. The police arrested him. The court gave him probation.
that's like you pulling a knife
March
out when my
2008.
mother standing right there.
Brand found
That's
Smith
crazy.
at a bus stop on her way to school.
That nigga didn't
When
give
she
a fuck.
refused to speak with him, he punched a probation sentence. The judge called it a momentary lapse in judgment. October 2013, a different woman tried to leave Brand. He tracked her to her apartment, forced his way
Hold
inside.
up. My bad, y'all.
He got 3 years. He served.
Hold on.
Brand broke into her home at 2 a.m., armed with a loaded handgun. He pressed the barrel against her chin while her children slept in the next room. When her 15-year-old son heard his mother's screams and tried to help, Brand threatened to kill him too. The woman survived only because neighbors heard the commotion and called police. The judge gave him 16 years for home invasion and aggravated assault. The sentence seemed like justice at last, but Illinois' truth in sentencing laws only required him to serve 50%. 8 years. He'd be out before the victim's physical scars had fully faded. During those 8 years in Stateville, Brand never attended a
What? I kind of beg to differ with that part. They just said he did 8 years, so they said that her physical scars, either they said barely healed or didn't heal. Hold on.
domestic violence. Parole board had all this information when they voted to release him. He refused. He'd be out before the victim's physical scars had fully faded.
Right.
During those 8
So she said he'd be out before the scars fully went away. That's a lie. If somebody shoots somebody, they're going to be healed way before 8 years is over. You know what I'm saying? The physical scars, now I'm not talking about the trauma. I'm talking about, like, you know, a scar that you get on your body from falling or something. Like you see, I got a scar right here on my knee. That's healed up. You know what I'm saying? That came from getting stabbed. That healed up within 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could Google how long do it take a bullet wound to heal. But I know it's definitely not no 8 years. That doesn't even sound right. Do that sound right? 8 years to heal. Okay, so they did send me the Zoom meetings. Alright, that's what's up. Because I'm going to call them up tomorrow. So I could be on point with that. Yeah, I can't Google it. Actually, yes I can on this phone. What's the longest time it takes a gunshot to heal? The recovery time for a gunshot wound can vary significantly, ranging from weeks to years, depending on the severity and location of the injury. While minor wounds might heal within weeks, more severe injuries can lead to lasting complications like chronic pain, physical disability, and psychological trauma. In some cases, full recovery, even with intensive treatment, can take a year or more. Alright. Major wounds involving broken bones, organ damage, or nerve damage can require intensive treatment and rehabilitation, potentially taking months or even years to heal. Alright, well.
You told me to stop saying you hit me, and then you told the whole world that I stabbed you.
The whole world don't know you, so it don't matter. That's the difference. The people you talking to, they know us. These people don't know you. And I don't think they want to know you. After that,
But maybe we would stop hitting me.
what's the longest
Maybe I would have stabbed you.
what's the longest time it takes for a gunshot to heal? See, you still don't listen, still talking about it.
Yeah, because you said
It's no because. You got to stop. You got to listen to me. You don't want to listen to me. You keep putting yourself in crazy situations. After everything we talked about earlier, yeah, you still said it's no cuz. That's how I know you can't get right, man. That's your problem though. So it's not saying nothing about no years for real. I'm trying to get it to tell me, but it's just saying months. So we just gonna consider it. It said the longest it said was a year or longer. So I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt, and I'm just gonna say a dude got hit with a 44 bulldog in the gut somewhere. Man, it's probably gonna take good 2 years, 2.5, but not no 8. Ain't nothing taking no 8 years, man. That's psychological damage. But I had to talk about that real quick, y'all. That was itching. It was driving me nuts. So here we go.
8 years in Stateville, Brand never attended a single domestic violence intervention program. He refused psychological counseling. His prison records showed 47 disciplinary infractions, including threatening female correctional officers. The parole board had all this information when they voted to release him in October 2023. They had it again when they voted to release him on March 12, 2024. What the Prisoner Review Board didn't have was the information that mattered most. They didn't know Lataria Smith had filed for an emergency protective order on February 21st. They didn't know about her court hearing scheduled for March 13th. They didn't know she'd told the judge that Brand had threatened to kill her entire family. 2 separate government agencies had critical pieces of information. The Cook County court system knew Smith feared for her life. The Illinois Department of Corrections knew Brand was a serial domestic abuser. Neither agency communicated with the other. The left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing, and a child would die in the gap between them. March 13th, 2024, 7:43 a.m. Lataria Smith was on the phone with her mother, going through her morning routine. Jaden had his backpack ready, excited about play rehearsal that afternoon. 5-year-old Cameron was putting on his shoes. Smith walked to the front door, phone pressed between her shoulder and ear. Keys in hand, 7:44 a.m. Smith turned the deadbolt. 7:45 a.m. She opened the door. CrosettiBrand had been waiting in the hallway for over an hour. The moment the door cracked open, he shoved his full weight against it. Smith's mother heard her daughter scream through the phone. No CO. Brand's street name. Then the line went dead. Brand pushed into the
Oh,
apartment bedroom.
shit.
Brand bolt.
I gotta
Some
get used to
40
that.
a.m. She opened the door. CrosettiBrand had been waiting. Abuser. Neither agency communicated with the other. The
My bad, y'all.
parole board had all this information when they voted to release him in October. During those 8 years in Stateville, Brand never attended a single domestic violence intervention program. He refused psychological counseling. His prison records showed 47 disciplinary infractions, including threatening female correctional officers.
Damn,
The parole
47?
board had all this information when they voted to release him in October 2023. They had it again when they voted to release him on March 12th, 2024.
So,
What the prisoner reviewed for March 13th. They didn't know she told the judge that Brand had threatened to kill her entire family. 2 separate government agencies had critical pieces of information. The Cook County court system knew Smith feared for her life. Entire family. 2 separate government agencies had her on February 21st. They didn't know about her court hearing scheduled for what mattered most. They didn't know Lataria Smith had filed for an emergency protective order on February 21st. They didn't know about her court hearing scheduled for March 13th. They didn't know she told the judge that Brand had threatened to kill her entire family. 2 separate government agencies had critical pieces of information. The Cook County court system knew Smith feared for her life. The Illinois Department of Corrections knew Brand was a serial domestic abuser. Neither agency communicated with the other. The left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing, and a child would die in the gap between them. March 13th, 2024, 7:43 a.m. Lataria Smith was on the phone with her mother, going through her morning routine. Jaden had his backpack ready, excited about play rehearsal that afternoon. 5-year-old Cameron was putting on his shoes. Smith walked to the front door, phone pressed between her shoulder and ear. Keys in hand, 7:44 a.m. Smith turned the deadbolt. 7:45 a.m. She opened the door. CrosettiBrand had been waiting in the hallway for over an hour. The moment the door cracked open, he shoved his full weight against it. Smith's mother heard her daughter scream through the phone. No CO. Brand's street name. Then the line went dead. Brand pushed into the apartment, a kitchen knife in his right hand. "If I can't have you, nobody will," he said. The same words he'd said to every woman who tried to leave him. Smith
Damn.
ran toward her bedroom. Brand followed. She managed to get inside and press her back against the door. Her children screaming in the living room.
what is that going to
For
do?
2 minutes, 120 seconds, that must have felt like hours.
Right.
She held him back as he kicked and pounded. The door frame began to splinter. When Brand finally broke through, he attacked with the methodical violence of some.
When he said, I know he was going to get through. That's what tripped me out. Like, when people know that they ain't got no win, but they still try to put that fight up, like, cause you got the fight or flight mode. It's like, why fight? Why not just go on the flight off the break? Like, I feel like with her trying to resist him getting in the room, she should have been using that time to think of something else. Like, you're not about to hold this grown man out. Like, you by yourself, you're physically not capable. Like, that's just the way God created it. You're a female, you're not stronger than him. He's going to overpower you and do whatever he wants to. So, you should have had something like, I don't know. She should have had an emergency fucking, fucking, I don't know. Had a window fucking latched where as though you can get out that motherfucker with the flick of a wrist type of situation, just because of that. You feel me? Something, think of something, I don't know.
Someone who'd done this before. The knife found her 15 times. Her neck, her arms, her torso. The defensive wounds would later tell the story of a pregnant mother fighting desperately to survive.
Wow.
It was then that Jaden Perkins made his choice. Share this story. Learn the warning signs of escalating domestic violence. Visit the JadenPerkinsFoundation.org for resources that could save a life. 7:47 a.m. Lataria Smith lay on her bedroom floor, blood pooling beneath her. 15 stab wounds covered her body. Her arms bore defensive cuts from trying to block the blade. Her neck bled profusely from multiple punctures. 4 months pregnant, she could feel her unborn daughter moving inside her, even as her own strength faded. From the living room came sounds no mother should hear. Her 5-year-old son, Cameron, screaming in terror. Furniture crashing, footsteps running. 7:48 a.m. Jaden Perkins stood in the hallway watching his mother being murdered. The boy who spent his life making others smile, who helped classmates with homework, who danced with such joy that strangers stopped to watch, that boy disappeared. In his place stood something else. Something fierce. Something that would not let his mother die alone. No, the word tore from... Miss Smith lay on her bedroom floor, blood pooling beneath her. 15 stab wounds covered her body. Her arms bore defensive cuts from trying to block the blade. Her neck bled profusely from multiple punctures. 4 months pregnant. From the living room came sounds no mother should hear. Her 5-year-old son, Cameron, screaming in terror. Furniture crashing, footsteps running. 7:48 a.m. Jaden Perkins stood in the hallway watching his mother being murdered. The boy who spent his life making others smile, who helped classmates with homework, who danced with such joy that strangers stopped to watch, that boy disappeared. In his place stood something else. Something fierce. Something that would not let his mother die alone. No, the word tore from Jaden's throat as he charged. Cook County prosecutors would later describe what happened next with professional detachment. But even their clinical language couldn't hide their awe. He went from an 11-year-old kid to the protector of his mother. Jaden Perkins, 4 feet 2 inches tall, 99 pounds, threw himself at CrosettiBrand. The man outweighed him by more than 200 pounds. Brand stood 6 feet tall with arm...
Right. They said that kid was 99 pounds. They saying dude was way more than two. They saying had him by over 200 pounds. Meaning this dude was 3-something. 6-something, 300-something pounds. Like he was a monster. I mean, but that fight that shorty had in him, he had God in him. You hear me? He had God in him.
Thick from prison workouts. None of that mattered to Jaden. His mother was hurt. His mother needed help. Mathematics of size and strength meant nothing against the equation of love.
Right.
The boy grabbed Brand's arm, trying to pull the knife away. He kicked at the man's legs with the same feet that had executed perfect pirouettes just days before. He used every ounce of his small body as a weapon, as a shield, as a barrier between evil and the woman who'd given him life. Brand turned the knife on Jaden. One thrust, direct to the chest, between the ribs, into the heart. The medical examiner would later note the precision of the wound, a single, deliberate strike designed to kill. No hesitation marks, no glancing blows. Brand knew exactly what he was doing when he murdered a child. Jaden fell immediately. His body hit the floor with a sound that would haunt his mother forever. Not a crash, just a soft thump. Like dropping a backpack full of books. He didn't cry out, he didn't scream. He lay still on the hallway floor, eyes open but unfocused, his Chicago Bulls t-shirt turning dark red around a hole that shouldn't exist. Jaden, please get up. Smith managed to say through her own pain, "Please, baby, get up." He didn't move. The boy who could leap across a stage, who could spin through the air, who moved like music itself, he lay absolutely
It's
still.
almost over.
Brand stood over the child's body for a moment, the bloody knife still in his hand. Then he walked past 5-year-old Cameron, who pressed himself against the wall, too terrified to cry. Brand left the apartment door open and disappeared down the stairwell. 7:52 a.m. Lilian Rodriguez was returning from walking her dog when she heard screaming from the apartment down the hall. The door stood wide open. She peered inside and saw a scene from a nightmare. There was blood everywhere, Rodriguez would later testify. The mother was on the floor holding her neck, blood coming through her fingers. The little one, the 5-year-old, he was standing there crying, asking for help. And the older boy. Rodriguez called 911 immediately. The operator asked if the victims were breathing. Rodriguez checked Smith first, conscious but losing blood rapidly. Then she knelt beside Jaden. His chest wasn't moving. His eyes stared at nothing. She tried to find a pulse at his small wrist and felt nothing but cooling skin. "There's a child here," Rodriguez told the operator. I think he's gone." 7:56 a.m. Chicago Fire Department paramedics arrived first, followed seconds later by police. They found Smith conscious but in critical condition. The EMTs worked on her while trying not to look at the boy who lay too still in the hallway. Protocol demanded they attempt resuscitation, even when hope was gone. Paramedic Michael Chen was first to reach Jaden. 23 years on the job, father of 3, and his hands shook as he pressed them against the child's chest to stop the bleeding.
Damn.
The wound was small, no bigger than a nickel, but it had gone straight through to the heart.
Damn.
Chen started compressions anyway, counting out loud, refusing to accept what his training told him. "Come on, kid," Chen whispered between compressions. "Come on." 8:03 a.m. The ambulances raced toward Ascension St. Francis Hospital, sirens cutting through the morning traffic. In one ambulance, Smith kept asking about Jaden. The paramedics told her to focus on her own breathing, to stay calm for the baby. In the other ambulance, Chen continued CPR on a boy whose last heartbeat had come and gone. 8:11 a.m. The emergency room at St. Francis erupted into controlled chaos as both victims arrived. Trauma surgeons immediately took Smith into surgery. Her injuries were...
That's a double entendre, or whatever that shit is called. Controlled chaos. If it's chaos, then it's... Wait, I guess... Yeah, I was thinking organized chaos. You can't have organized and that be chaos. But you can have controlled chaos. You know what I'm saying? If I get a dog kennel, put 2 cats, a dog, and 3 mice in there, you're going to have hella chaos.
Severe but survivable if they moved fast enough. The baby's heartbeat remained strong despite the mother's blood loss. Jaden was wheeled into Trauma Bay 2. A team of doctors and nurses surrounded the small body on the 2 large gurney. They inserted tubes, pushed medications, shocked his heart. They did everything medical science could do.
For what?
Dr. Patricia Williams, head of pediatric emergency medicine, would later say, "We worked on him for 36 minutes. Everyone in that room knew it was too late, but nobody wanted to stop. When you see a child that young, that small, you just keep trying." 8:47 a.m. Time of death, 8:47 a.m., March 13th, 2024. Jaden Terrell Perkins. Age, 11 years, 4 months, 17 days. First responder David Martinez, a 15-year veteran of Chicago, stood outside the trauma bay when they called it. He'd been first on the scene, had seen what the boy had done, understood what had happened in that apartment. Martinez, who'd responded to thousands of calls.
Wow, so they really... Pretty much you get to announce his death part, you know what I'm saying, exactly halfway through the video. That is creepy.
Who thought he'd seen everything Chicago could offer, found himself crying in the hospital corridor.
You saw.
A reporter asked him later about the boy who died. Martinez's response was simple. The child died protecting his family. He's a hero, 11 years old, and he died a hero. The silence that followed the announcement of Jaden's death seemed to expand beyond the hospital walls. It reached the dance studio where his shoes still sat in his cubby.
Oh, he used to dance.
It reached Pierce
Wow,
Elementary, where his desk would remain empty. It reached a theater where a costume for Nemo would never be worn.
Wow.
But in Operating Room 3, Lataria Smith's heart kept beating. Her baby's heart kept beating. Because an 11-year-old boy had stood between them and death, trading his life for theirs without hesitation, without doubt, without fear. Jaden Perkins was dead. His mother and sister were alive. His sacrifice had not been in vain. March 13, 2024, 8:55 a.m. While doctors fought to save Lataria Smith's life, Chicago police detectives began assembling what would become one of the most meticulously documented murder cases in Cook County history. Evidence item number 1 of 300. Surveillance footage. Chicago's North Side is watched by thousands of cameras, city-owned, business security systems, residential doorbell cameras. Within 2 hours of the attack, detectives had pulled footage from 47 different angles. The video told a story that needed no interpretation. 6:47 a.m. Brand appears on a convenience store camera 6 blocks from Smith's apartment, purchasing a Monster Energy drink and a pack of cigarettes. He pays cash. He knows exactly where the cameras are, keeping his head down, but his distinctive neck tattoo remains visible. 6:50 a.m. A CTA bus camera captures him exiting at Ravenswood and Foster, 3 blocks from the apartment. 7:02 a.m. He enters the apartment building. The lobby camera shows him bypassing the buzzer system. He had a key, somehow obtained during his previous contacts with Smith. 7:45 a.m. The hallway camera on Smith's floor records everything. Brand waiting, the door opening, his forced entry. The timestamp burns into the screen, 7:45 and teen. 8:01 a.m. Brand exits the building, blood visible on his white t-shirt, the knife still in his hand. An ATM camera catches him throwing something into a garbage can. Smith's cell phone, investigators would later discover, with her final attempt to call 911, frozen on the screen at 7:45.
And that's another thing. They say they caught him throwing something in a trash can. And I'm saying, I'm sorry. I'm burying my shit. Anything I got of evidence, I'm burying it. I'm not putting it in the water. I'm not flushing it. You gotta bury it. It's and the world is so big, you could probably literally go in your next door neighbor backyard, pick a nice spot, bury it right there, and nobody ever find it. I feel like people get jammed up when it comes to that type of shit because they tell somebody, or they make a dumb decision and somebody finds out. They don't just they don't just try to cover their tracks and that's it. They expose their hand.
8:04 a.m. A parking garage camera shows Brand climbing a chain link fence and throwing an object over it. The knife, covered in blood, would be recovered from the other side 4 hours later.
He didn't even
the digital
try to get
trail
rid of
continued for 6 more blocks.
Fuck, you threw the knife. You threw the knife. Had to know that wherever it land, it's going to land on top of wherever it's at. Meaning people going to come through there, and then they got blood on there. Somebody going to notice this shit and be like, yo, what's up? The world we live in today, people are literally that nosy. They have see a bloody knife on the ground, pick it up, want to know what's up with it, and fuck around. And I'm saying, especially a scared person, a non-black motherfucker that ain't from the ghetto nowhere, they gonna see that, oh my God, what is this? Yeah, I found a knife. It looked like somebody about stabbed with it. Like, it's crazy.
Until Brand entered his mother's apartment building at 8:18 a.m. 47 cameras, 33 minutes of flight, every second recorded. Evidence item 73. The murder weapon. The knife was a Cuisinart kitchen blade, 8 inches long, purchased from Target. Investigators found the receipt in Brand's apartment, bought on March 11th, 2024, the day before his release, during a supervised shopping trip for inmates preparing to leave prison. He bought it alongside deodorant and socks, just another item on his re-entry checklist. Crime lab technician Sarah Vuong processed the knife with methodical precision. Blood covered the blade from tip to handle. 2 distinct DNA profiles emerged. The first belonged to Lataria Smith. The second, a smaller sample near the blade's base, belonged to Jaden Perkins. A partial palm print on the handle matched Brand's right hand. In 20 years of processing evidence, Vuong would testify, I've never seen a weapon
see how
that
this
told such a
criminal
clear
get caught
story.
first. The fans, they want to know how this guy get caught, so I gotta let them see it. I'd be wrong to cut it off now and leave you viewers hanging. They gonna unsubscribe my channel messing with you. I'm like, man, MA Soldier's phony.
Fence and throwing an object over it. The knife, covered in blood, would be recovered from the other side 4 hours later. The digital trail continued for 6 more blocks until Brand entered his mother's apartment building at 8:18 a.m. 47 cameras, 33 minutes of flight, every second recorded. Evidence item 73. The murder weapon. The knife was a Cuisinart kitchen blade, 8 inches long, purchased from Target. Investigators found the receipt in Brand's apartment, bought on March 11th, 2024, the day before his release, during a supervised shopping trip for inmates preparing to leave prison. He bought it alongside deodorant and socks, just another item on his re-entry prison. He bought it alongside deodorant and socks, just another item on his re-entry checklist. Crime lab technician Sarah Vuong processed the knife with methodical precision. Blood covered the blade from tip to handle. 2 distinct DNA profiles emerged. The first belonged to Lataria Smith. The second, a smaller sample near the blade's base, belonged to Jaden Perkins. A partial palm print on the handle matched Brand's right hand. In 20 years of processing evidence, Vuong would testify, "I've never seen a weapon that told such a clear story." Evidence item 152, Brand's prison release paperwork. Found in his jacket pocket during arrest, the documents bore the Illinois Department of Corrections seal. Release date, March 12, 2024. Time, 6:08 p.m. Special conditions. Mandatory electronic monitoring for domestic violence offenders. A box at the bottom should have been checked, indicating the monitor was attached. It remained blank. The paperwork included a checklist of markers Brand had signed. "I understand that I must report to my parole officer within 24 hours. He never reported. I understand that I must maintain a... Paperwork included a checklist of markers Brand had signed. I understand that I must report to my parole officer within 24 hours. He never reported. I understand that I must maintain approved housing. He went straight to his mother's apartment, not on his approved list. I understand that I am prohibited from contact with victims of my previous crimes." Lataria Smith's name appeared on that list. Evidence item 212, the protection order petition. Cook County Court Document 2024 OP001847, filed February 21, 2024. Petitioner Lataria Smith. Respondent, CrosettiBrand. In Smith's handwriting, he sent text messages saying he would kill me and my family. He tried to break down my door. I am afraid for my life and my children's lives. The judge's ruling stamp, denied. Respondent currently incarcerated. A second stamp showed the rescheduled hearing, March 13th, 2024, 9 a.m., courtroom 205. Jaden died at 8:47 a.m. His mother's hearing for protection would have started 13 minutes later.
Damn.
Evidence item 241, Brand's criminal history report. Assistant State's Attorney Danny Hanichak stood before the grand jury with a document 43 pages long. Since turning 18, he said, CrosettiBrand has been free for exactly 344 days. The rest of his adult life, 20 years, has been spent either in prison or facing charges for violence against women. The pattern was consistent: domestic battery, aggravated assault, home invasion, violation of protective orders. 5 different women, 26 arrests, 11 convictions. Each sentence longer than the last, yet none was consistent. Domestic battery, aggravated assault, home invasion, violation of protective orders. 5 different women, 26 arrests, 11 convictions. Each sentence longer than the last, yet none
This nigga was putting up triple doubles. Golly, did y'all hear his stats? This boy was he's trying to make the All-Star team.
Consistent. Domestic battery, aggravated assault, home invasion, violation of protective orders. 5 different women, 26 arrests, 11 convictions.
5, 26, and 11. Sure, that boy number's looking like LeBron in the finals,
Sentence
boy.
longer than the last, yet none long enough to stop him permanently. This defendant, Hanichak told the grand jury, is violence personified. He has spent 2 decades terrorizing women who tried to leave him.
Yeah.
On March 13, 2024, that violence finally claimed the life of a child whose only crime was loving his mother. The physical evidence alone filled 3 storage rooms. 300 items cataloged, photographed, tested, preserved. Smith's blood-soaked clothing, Jaden's Chicago Bulls t-shirt with a single hole in the chest, the backpack he'd packed for school, never to be opened. 5-year-old Cameron's drawings from that morning, abandoned on the kitchen table as his family's life shattered. Detective Michelle Torres, lead investigator on the case, would later tell reporters, "In my career, I've worked more than 200 homicides. I've never seen evidence this overwhelming.
I hope they poke that bitch
Every
ass
single
nigga
piece
up in
points
jail,
to the
man.
same conclusion: premeditated murder by a man who should never have been free."
Right.
The Cook County State's Attorney's Office filed 17 felony counts against...
And I apologize, y'all. I just get so emotional when I hear about cases that involve children that don't do nothing to nobody. That little boy was an angel, man. He didn't even get to experience puberty yet. He was innocent. Yeah, your innocence ain't gone until you 12 to 13. So yeah, you know what I'm saying that man, he need to hang one up in your real deep.
CrosettiBrand count 1, first-degree
That's messed up,
murder
man.
of Jaden Perkins. Counts 2 to 3, attempted
You know what
first-degree murder of
puberty is?
Latarius Smith. Count 4,
What's puberty?
attempted murder of an unborn child. Count
When
5,
you
home invasion with a deadly
becoming a
weapon.
grown man or
Count
grown
6,
woman.
aggravated domestic battery. Count 7 to 11, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Count
You get ready to
12,
become a
violation of bail
teenager.
bond. Counts 13, 17, violate to 3, attempted first-degree
Not
murder of
necessarily.
Latarius
I ain't
Smith.
get here when I was
Count 4, attempted
teenager.
murder of an unborn child. Count 5, home invasion with a deadly
Look,
weapon.
you ain't got that much
Count
now.
6,
This ain't start coming
aggravated
until I was
domestic
like
battery.
20.
Count 7 to 11, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
I know what you mean,
Count
though.
12, violation of bail bond. Counts 13, 17, violation of parole conditions. Count 6, aggravated domestic
Damn.
battery. Count 7 to 11. The Cook County State's Attorney's Office filed 17 felony counts against Crossetti.
Golly.
Brand count 1, first-degree murder of Jaden Perkins. Counts 2 to 3, attempted first-degree murder of Latarius Smith. Count 4, attempted murder of an unborn child. Count 5, home invasion with a deadly weapon. Count 6, aggravated domestic battery. Count 7 to 11, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Count 12, violation of bail bond. Counts 13, 17, violation of parole conditions. Each count carried potential decades in prison.
I know.
Prosecutors announced they would seek the maximum, life without parole, plus 120 consecutive years. We will present every piece of evidence,
Wow.
State's Attorney Kim Fox
Well, I don't got a
declared Gates
death
in
penalty
prison.
there.
Prosecutors announced they would seek the maximum, life without parole, plus 120 consecutive years. We will present every piece of evidence, State's Attorney Kim Fox declared at a press conference. We will call every witness. We will leave no doubt about what happened in that apartment and who is responsible. Jaden Perkins died a hero, and we will ensure his killer never walks free again. This case exposed fatal flaws in Illinois' justice system. Subscribe for updates on domestic violence prevention legislation at the JadenPerkinsFoundation.org. Your voice can help prevent the next tragedy. March 13th, 2024, 11:47 a.m. 3 hours after murdering Jaden Perkins, CrosettiBrand sat in his mother's living room eating a sandwich when police surrounded the building. He didn't run. He didn't resist. When officers breached the door, he simply stood up, put his hands behind his back, and said, "I know why you're here." Detective Michelle Torres read him his rights. Brand waived them immediately. "I want to represent myself," he said. "I
What
don't
an
need a
idiot.
lawyer. I know the law better than any of them." This decision would transform his trial into a grotesque spectacle of narcissism and delusion. May 5th, 20...
So one thing I learned, y'all, about, and this is some real deal, Holyfield, listen up close, even you. One thing about the system, it's designed for you to fail. So I don't care how smart you are. It's not made for you to go in there and defend yourself. That's just not, like, no matter how good of a fake lawyer you think you are, the way that it's set up, like, literally, they got guidelines and stuff where as though you're not even going to be able to, you know what I'm saying, really represent yourself, because for one, you're the defendant. You know what I'm saying? Like, most likely you going to be fighting it from behind the wall. You know what I'm saying? It's meaning you don't have the proper you ain't got the proper resources that you would if you was on the streets. And yeah, it's the state gonna make a mockery out of you. They going I'm telling you, they're going to play with you. You're gonna become the class clown. Like, no matter how smart, I'm telling you, it don't matter how smart you is. It's just, the system is not the judicial system of Maryland is not designed like that. And not even Maryland, just in America, our system is designed for the suspect is guilty until proven innocent. You know what I'm saying, not innocent until proven guilty. That's why a lot of states, you do time before you even go to trial or go to court. Like, I'm telling you, man, I wish I had some more to say about it, but I really don't have nothing else to say except for it's designed for you to lose. Don't represent yourself. That's the worst, dumbest thing you could do. I don't care if you know your case is open and shut. Do not represent yourself, because you're going to go in there and fuck your shit up. It's just designed that way. Your best bet is not to represent yourself, to just go in there, and if you is going to represent yourself, don't say shit. Just say, I don't want a lawyer, but I ain't got nothing to say. I guess. I don't know. I just know you go up there and you start talking for yourself, you're going to get screwed. You heard what they just said?
25. The trial of CrosettiBrand began in Cook County Criminal Court. Against all legal advice, Brand insisted on serving as his own attorney. Judge Angela Petrone warned him repeatedly about the dangers of self-representation. Brand dismissed her concerns with a wave of his hand. I've spent 20 years in the system, he told the court. I know how this works. For 4 weeks, the families of Jaden Perkins and Lataria Smith endured Brand's courtroom performance. He cross-examined his victim, the woman he'd stabbed 15 times, accusing her of lying about everything from their relationship to the attack itself. His defense theory defied logic and decency. Smith had attacked him with the knife, he claimed, and accidentally stabbed her own son during the struggle. You killed Jaden yourself, Brand said during his closing argument, pointing at Smith. You were jealous because he was going to be in movies with me. The claim was absurd. Brand had never been in any films. Jaden had never met him before that morning. But Brand continued his fantasy, suggesting the 11-year-old had been involved in adult films, that Smith had murdered him out of jealousy, that the entire case was a conspiracy. Prosecutor Ann McCord Rogers methodically destroyed each lie. She presented the surveillance footage, the DNA evidence, the knife purchase receipt, Brand's own prison release papers, the protection order.
I ain't gonna lie, that's so disrespectful what they saying yo did. Like, I feel like I hope all that followed Joe wherever he went at, and I hope guys got a hold of that paperwork, read that, or it went on they seen on the news how basically yo played with that lady. Like, you gonna tell her she stabbed her own son and then say that y'all supposed to be in movies together? Like, that's just straight, like, yo just disrespectful to the fullest power. Like, that is crazy. I don't even know her, don't know him, but just off hearing that, it's like, I wish I could meet this guy just so I could give a piece of my mind. Like, bro, that is crazy.
Smith had desperately sought. This man, Rogers told the jury, wants you to believe that a pregnant mother stabbed herself 15 times and murdered her own child. He wants you to ignore video evidence, forensic science, and common sense. Don't let him insult your intelligence. Don't let him insult Jaden's memory. The jury deliberated for 87 minutes. June 5th, 2025. Verdict: guilty on all 17 counts. August 5th, 2025. Sentencing day arrived with the courtroom packed beyond capacity. Jaden's family filled 3 rows. Dance instructors, teachers, and classmates came to witness justice. Lataria Smith, now mother to baby Jada, named after the brother she'd never meet, prepared to face her son's killer one final time. Brand appeared via Zoom from Cook County Jail, claiming security concerns. He wore an orange jumpsuit and the same expression of arrogant indifference he'd maintained throughout the trial. Christopher Perkins, Jaden's father, spoke first. He began calmly, but emotion over.
And then you got an orange jumpsuit on. That's another thing. Like, they say appearance got a lot to do with the first impression. So just off you having that jumpsuit on, they can't really take you serious because you look guilty. Like, you feel me? It's just so much that come with that
seconds.
Represent yourself.
You took my boy, he said, his voice breaking. My baby boy, who never hurt nobody. He was going to be something special. He was already special. And you. Christopher's pain erupted into rage. I can't even look at you, he shouted at the screen. Court officers asked him to step outside. From the hallway, his sobs echoed back into the courtroom. Judge Petrone allowed him to return after several minutes. I miss my baby, bro, Christopher said, more quietly now. It's senseless. We got a little bit of closure, but we still missing my baby. Lataria Smith stood next, holding her infant daughter. Her voice remained steady. each word carefully chosen. You have taken away one of the greatest gifts God has blessed me with. Jaden was not just my son. He was my protector, my sunshine, my reason to keep going when things got hard. He saved my life and his sister's life. He died a hero at 11 years old because of your evil. I want you to know that despite what you've done, Jaden's light still shines. His sister will know who her brother was. The world will know. And you'll be forgotten, rotting in a cell while my baby's memory lives on. Judge Angela Petrone had presided over hundreds.
And I mean, you know, like I say, over here on this channel, Made Soldiers, we do everything raw, real, and uncut. You know what I'm saying? It's all for educational purposes as well. And I'm going to keep it funky. That lie that people say when they say, well, how she just said, people going to remember her boy forever. Yeah, her people going to remember him. But just like, going to get forgot about. Our son going to get forgot about by all of us. You know what I'm saying? We don't personally know him. You know, unless we come back to this video, you're not going to remember this kid. You're probably going to forget about him tomorrow around this same time. You're not even going to remember who this kid was. You know, and I mean, it's nice to think that, you know, what she says sound good and all, but truth of the matter is, the spectrum is the same on both sides. It's just one will be remembered a little bit for being fucked up and evil, and the other one will be remembered a little bit for being courageous and a hero. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same, you know. That little boy wasn't nobody to me, you know what I'm saying? He did something great with his life, you know what I'm saying, in a way which would save his mom's life and his little sister. But other than that, I'm going to be honest, an hour from now, I'm not going to remember this kid. I was giving y'all the benefit of the doubt when I said a day from now. I'm doing that for all the crybabies, all the sentimental soft people, which probably ain't really none on here because all y'all soldiers. I mean, that's why y'all subscribe to my channel, because y'all made, you feel me? Y'all got that money, y'all about that action, y'all about that instinct, and y'all about that dedication. You know what I'm saying? So y'all ain't ready to waste no time remembering this story. You know what I'm saying? It's nice to get something good out of it, but yeah, we got our lives to live. You heard us. I mean, rest in peace, Jaden, you know? Definitely, we're going to send our condolences out to the family. You know what I'm saying? And for those who is subscribed to my channel and my page, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead over there, try to find out some more about this lady case. See if you can send our family some money or something. Don't donate to me. Donate to them. I'm going to start doing that too, you know, because I'm straight, you know what I mean? I ain't the richest and I ain't the poorest, but I don't want for nothing right now. So, you know, I'm going to give my little blessings and everything that I could get to somebody who needs it right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I was in that shoe before, so yeah. Once again, like, comment, subscribe, share the video.
Of violent crime cases in her career. But as she prepared to sentence Brand, her typical judicial composure cracked. In my 22 years on the bench, she began, I have never encountered a crime so exceptionally brutal, so utterly senseless, so completely preventable.
It's about to
You,
go up.
Mr. Brand, are a predator who has spent your entire adult life terrorizing women. On March 13th, 2024, your violence finally claimed the life of a child whose courage surpassed anything you will ever understand. She continued, Jaden Perkins stood 4 feet 2 inches tall. He weighed 99 pounds. He was 11 years old.
He weighed 99
and he had more bravery in
pounds.
his small body than you have ever possessed. While you spent decades hurting women who couldn't fight back, this child stood up to you. He died protecting others. You will die in prison having protected no one, loved no one, contributed nothing. The sentence, life in prison without the possibility of...
That's sad, because what she's saying is really true. Like, and I don't bash nobody. I don't know that dude, but men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. 5 women that he did this to, yeah, he's a menace to society. He need to get them mittens, them paws, and them hands put all over him. He need to get drum rolled to the fullest extent. You know what I'm saying? He ain't do that to just her. He did that to 4 other. You might as well say he had a chick for every day of the week. He was just doing dirty. He had a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. He was off on the weekends. That's crazy.
Parole for murder, plus 60 years for attempted murder, plus 60 years for home invasion. 120 additional years to be served consecutively.
I ain't gonna lie, all that extra stuff was insult to injury. That 60 years for home invasion, that don't even make sense. That was just them trying to send a message. Cause that's cruel and unusual punishment. You give a person 60 years for home invasion. Nah, they did that because of what he did. I'm telling y'all.
As Judge Petroni read the sentence, Brand began interrupting. This is a kangaroo court. I'm filing an appeal. You're all corrupt. Mr. Brand, the judge said firmly, you are sentenced to die in prison. Court is adjourned. Brand's final act of cowardice. He disconnected from the Zoom call before the judge finished speaking, denying the families even the small satisfaction of seeing him hear his fate. But larger reckonings were already underway.
So, they said the satisfaction of hearing him hear his fate. That little bit right there is a little like, come on, what do you expect? I mean, this guy's a criminal. He killed people. Do you really think he's going to give you the decency of doing that? When he has any kind of power? Oh yeah, he's going to abuse that shit. He had the power to hang up. Oh yeah, he's going to hang up. Even if that didn't go that way, he would have still hung up just because he had the power to do it. You got to understand. You know what I'm saying? They was lucky to get what they got. Yeah, he deserved everything he got, but you got to keep it 100. Be real about everything. You know what I'm saying? That man is a criminal. You know what I'm saying? It's his way or the highway. You know what I'm saying? That's the life he came up. That's the life he chose. So that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? He living by the way that he know how. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't mad at Joe for doing that. Like, I could see anybody doing that. They didn't try to hear that. Man, fuck you. I'm hanging up.
March 15th, 2024. 2 days after Jaden's murder, Illinois Prisoner Review Board members Leanne Miller and Donald Shelton resigned.
And listen
Miller
to them bash him. You know what I'm saying? He already showed he didn't give a fuck about a cross-examination. So y'all knew what y'all was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? I guess this man that's talking is just trying to make it sound better, but I mean, that's bullcrap. We know that ain't how that go.
Conducted Brand's final release hearing. Shelton had served as board chairman since 2012. Neither offered public explanation, but internal documents later revealed both had voted to release Brand despite his parole violations. Governor J.B. Pritzker addressed the state. It is clear that evidence in this case was not given the careful consideration that victims of domestic violence deserve. We failed Jaden Perkins. We failed his family. We must do better. Senate Bill 19, nicknamed Jaden's Law, passed the Illinois legislature with overwhelming bipartisan support. The reforms were sweeping. Mandatory domestic violence training for all prisoner review board members, 40 hours initially, 8 hours annually thereafter. No more appointees without understanding the patterns of escalating violence. Creation of the Office of Director of Victim and Witness Services, ensuring victims' voices are heard before any release decision. Lataria Smith's protection order request would have triggered automatic notification under the new system. Requirements that 7 of 15 board members have at least 5 years of criminal justice experience. No more political appointees without qualifications making life or death decisions. Mandatory verification of electronic monitoring devices before any domestic violence offender leaves custody. A supervisor must physically confirm the device is attached and functioning. Brand's empty ankle would never happen again. Real-time information sharing between courts and corrections. When a victim files for protection, the Prisoner Review Board knows within 24 hours. Victims can now file impact statements before any parole hearing and seek protective orders against incarcerated offenders. The law recognizes what Lataria Smith knew. Prison walls don't always mean safety. The board must publish names of
Now, you know what I'm saying, all that was just said, all the upgrades and the changes that they made, you know what I'm saying, that's all nice and dandy, but at the end of the day, I feel like, and this is just common sense, where there's a will, there's a what? Right. And I wasn't even talking to my wife. She just chimed in. I was waiting for y'all to respond. Where's a will, there's a way. Meaning, even with all that, we're still going to have another Jaden somewhere down the line. You know what I'm saying? And God forbid, stuff for law, subhanAllah, but that's just, that's just life. You're going to have evil people out here.
Defenders who violate parole terms within 60 days. Transparency replaces the secrecy that enabled Brand's release. March 15th, 2024. 2 days after Jaden Perkins died protecting his mother, something remarkable happened on North Ravenswood Avenue. Children began arriving at the memorial outside his apartment building. Not just a few, more than 100 kids from Pierce Elementary, from the dance studio, from the neighborhood. They brought drawings of Nemo. They brought dance shoes. They brought letters to a friend who would never read them. 11-year-old Nathaniel Vodak, Jaden's best friend, stood before the growing memorial and made a promise. We're going to finish the play for you. I'll make sure everyone remembers their lines. The Gus Giordano Dance School faced an unprecedented decision. In 70 years of operation, they had never named a scholarship after a student. But Jaden wasn't just any student. We knew within hours, said Amy Giordano, the school's executive director. This had to happen. Jaden's light couldn't die with him. The Jaden Perkins Memorial Scholarship became the institution's first named scholarship. Full coverage for everything. Weekly classes in hip-hop, ballet, contemporary, and jazz. Dance shoes that cost hundreds of dollars. Performance attire. Competition travel expenses. Transportation to and from the studio for families who needed it. The scholarship would go to a child who embodied Jaden's spirit. Not just talent, but kindness, dedication, and the willingness to lift others up. The first recipient was announced 3 months after Jaden's death. An 8-year-old boy from Jaden's neighborhood who'd been watching dance classes through the window because his family couldn't afford tuition. The community's response overwhelmed everyone. Within 72 hours of Jaden's death, a GoFundMe campaign raised $60,000. Within a month, $120,000. The money would support Lataria Smith as she recovered from her injuries, welcomed baby Jada into the world, and tried to rebuild a life shattered by violence. Pierce Elementary created a permanent memorial in their main hallway. Jaden's artwork covered an entire wall. His perfect attendance certificates. Photos from every school play. A plaque that read, Jaden Perkins, student, performer, hero, forever 11. The school board voted unanimously to rename the auditorium the Jaden Perkins Memorial Theater. On opening night of Finding Nemo, 3 months after his death, an empty spotlight illuminated center stage for 11 seconds, one for each year of his life. The audience stood in silence. Then Nathaniel Vodak walked onto the stage wearing the Nemo costume meant for his best friend. This is for Jaden, he said. The performance that followed raised $17,000 for the Memorial Scholarship Fund. May 8, 2024. Baby Jada Perkins was born healthy, weighing 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Lataria Smith had survived 15 stab wounds and emergency surgery to deliver the daughter her son.
I'm saying that was a miracle child. Just off the strength of, what happened to the mother. Like, she got hit 15 times. That's crazy.
Died protecting. At the hospital, nurses lined the hallway as Smith left with her newborn, many of them crying. They knew the story. Everyone in Chicago knew the story. She looks like him, Smith would later say about her daughter. Same eyes, same smile, like he's still here somehow. Every March 13th at 7:48 a.m. The moment Jaden made his choice, a balloon release fills the sky above Ravenswood Avenue. Parents bring their children. Teachers dismiss classes. Dance students perform in the street. The first year, 500 people attended. The second year, more than 1,000. At each gathering, Jaden's great-uncle Titus Washington speaks the same words. Jaden is the hero out of all of this, because he saved his mother and his brand new sister's life. We're here not just to mourn, but to remember that an 11-year-old boy showed us what courage really means. The systemic changes inspired by Jaden's death extend beyond Illinois. 17 states have introduced legislation modeled after Senate Bill 19. The Federal Violence Against Women Act now includes provisions for electronic monitoring verification. The Jaden Protocol requires real-time information sharing between courts and corrections nationwide. But perhaps the most powerful legacy lives in the survivors who find strength in Jaden's story. The Jaden Perkins Foundation, established by his family, has helped more than 300 domestic violence survivors escape abusive relationships. The foundation provides emergency relocation funds, legal assistance, and something equally vital, proof that they're not alone. Every dancer who takes the stage at Gus Giordano, every student who walks through the Jaden Perkins Memorial Theater, every survivor who calls the hotline, every legislator who votes for protection reforms, they all carry forward the courage of a boy who wouldn't let his mother face evil alone. Jaden Perkins lived 11 years, 4 months, and 17 days. In his final 30 seconds, he showed more bravery than most people display in a lifetime. He couldn't stop the knife that killed him, but he stopped the knife that would have killed his mother and sister. 2 lives saved, hundreds more protected through the reforms his death inspired. Thousands touched by his story. This is how light defeats darkness. Not through size or strength, but through the choice to stand up when it matters most. An 11-year-old boy made that choice.
This is dedication and hard work. I don't know how to cast my screen or put the, you know how people had a video playing in the background. Like, I ain't that savvy with it yet, so I'm literally giving it to you raw like this. You know what I'm saying? This is what I be saying. You ain't gonna get it no real or no raw from nowhere else. Tap in with your boy, man. This is dedication to the T. I've been in this position forever.
Now the choice is ours. Take action now. Call the Illinois Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-877-863-6338. Learn about protection orders. cookcountycourt.org/protective orders. Support victim protection legislation. ilga.gov/legislation/bill status. Visit the JadenPerkinsFoundation.org today. Demand electronic monitoring compliance in your state. Share Jaden's story. Honor his sacrifice by protecting others. Every signature, every call, every donation helps ensure no other child dies, protecting their parent from preventable violence.
I want to tell y'all how I felt with my child calling me.
Alright, y'all. So, that's that. I hope everybody got something from that. Yeah, man. I hope that family is doing okay.
It was gruesome and it was hard. It was like reliving that day all over again.
This documentary contains graphic descriptions of...
Oh, that's the mother. Oh, yeah, so that's how that go. If you want to know where I got that video from, it's TVM Crime Stories. I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to that. So if you want to follow them and look up their videos, you can find them on my page. That's them right there. Man, I think that story is real heartbreaking. You know, I feel like that guy is a piece of shit. I feel like, you know, I hope that that little girl grow up one day and she really get the true story on her brother, man. I think she deserve it. Tell me what y'all think about this new, my new idea. Posting these true crime stories and reacting to them with y'all. Yeah, man. I guess that about wraps it up. Like I say, make sure you tell a friend and tell that friend and to tell a friend. Until the next time, I'm out.